This is Media Philosophy, exploring the deeper side of Invader ZIM and just how amazingly creepy Invader ZIM was. It was the best thing about it. And it really proves how much kids love the terrifying, because that's what really draws you into Invader ZIM. Was Johann Vasquez. What's his freaking name? I gotta look it up now. We'll just call him Mr. Vasquez. But just the sharp, angular style of his artwork is just so creepy. It's like inherently creepy. It's inherently like threatening almost. It really contrasts, now that I think about it, to a lot of the other kid shows, which I feel like has a very bubbly feel to it, a big bubbly style. Even like SpongeBob, who has those corners, still kind of has that bubbliness to him. But not in Invader ZIM. It's all angular, it's all spiky, there's screaming, there's pain, and kids like that. And I think you can see that even today with what kids kind of gravitate towards online is the creepy, is like the unsettling, because it's fun. Especially if you have like Nickelodeon's kind of reining it in a little bit. They're not going to let it go too far, and that was the nice thing with Invader ZIM, I guess, looking back. You know, as a parent, I would be like, what the hell is my kid watching in my head? But, you know, I guess compared to anything else, I mean, it's nothing too bad. I mean, it's not like there's blood, it's not like there's dismemberment on screen a little bit. And I guess with the show, only like one kid got killed. Higgins or something. That one episode where Gaz was trying to get her game, and he took the last one, so Gaz had to go out and get like revenge. That was really fun. And again, that just kind of is an episode that shows the creepiness. I can't really think of like another cartoon that I'm aware of on like network television, whatever, that kind of has that level of creepiness to it. Or like one kid stalking and basically like a Jason situation from Friday the 13th. That's kind of what it felt like. And again, going back to the idea that kids really like this, when you think about what is kind of popular right now, that I'm aware of, is the whole Amazing Digital Circus, which kind of has that same kind of mysterious creepiness to it. I wouldn't say it's actually on par with like the energy that Invader ZIM brings out, but again, it just goes that kids just like that creepiness, that weird, that absurd. Invader ZIM just does that so perfectly. I would love to be in those rooms where Johann Vasquez just pushed the limits as far, like what got left on the cutting room floor, not even on the cutting room floor, but like before that, like in his scripts, his pitches, you know, how far away did Nickelodeon executives keep Mr. Vasquez away from like the writer's room or just the artists in general? You know, they got his name, they got his style, just stay away. We'll take it from here. Thank you very much. Because, I mean, Johnny the Homicidal Maniac, I mean, I wouldn't have gotten into that comic book series if it wasn't for his Invader ZIM. And then it's just insane that Squee, some Nickelodeon executive, I guess, is how it worked, is some Nickelodeon executive read Squee and thought that character was cute, so hey, why not call this guy and see if he wants to do a cartoon. There's got to be more information about how this show actually came about. If somebody can find that out, oh my god, I would, if there is not already like some sort of in-depth Disfunkland documentary on Invader ZIM, there's the next thing that they can do. Is Invader ZIM, because again, how did this get greenlit? How did it get this far? And I'm just so proud that Invader ZIM got to have the light of day, because it was just one of my favorite shows as a kid. And again, I think it was because it was a little scary. Of course, you know, Gurr being a raging idiot doesn't hurt. And then there's Gurr, who probably is responsible for a collective diagnosis of migraines amongst every parent in the early 2000s. But we're not here to talk too much about the comedy, because we want to focus more on the creepiness. And speaking of Invader ZIM's creepiness, what about Miss Bitters? Miss Bitters, hands down, just maybe one of the most realistic depictions of teachers in the world. You know, people who are just there to just teach, move these kids along. They're gonna amount to nothing, and she's right. As an adult, it's hard to blame Mrs. Bitters for her attitude, because she's probably making who in the year 2000, I don't know, maybe 30,000 a year, maybe, I don't know. It's just teachers don't make enough. So when you have Miss Spitters standing in front of your kid's classroom teaching them that they're all doomed, just know you get what you pay for. And even just, I guess, the whole concept of Invader Zim, when you think about it, is just kind of creepy in a fun way. It's literally about the world, not even world domination, but universal conquest. I mean, I'm pretty sure there is an episode where the Urkin army have literally enslaved entire planets and whatnot. And that's more or less what Zim is trying to do, is trying to take over Earth. So I don't really know if, when watching the show, if we're really rooting for Zim, or if we just know he's so incompetent that, like, even if we do root for him, we know it's not gonna work. But I don't think there's many shows where the so-called main character, protagonist, whatever, is the villain. At least when it comes to, like, kids cartoons, Western kids cartoons, at least. You know, in anime, this is a common thing, you know. If Invader Zim was an anime, it's giving me strong, like, I'm really bad about being the villainous vibes. That's what I want to see. I want to see a gender-bent Invader Zim fan animation of him being the bad villainess. Him trying to be the best bad... She trying to be the best bad villainess there is. That's what I want to see. I wish I had the clout and or money to make that happen. But yeah, I just think that's really funny that even the concept is a little dark, you know, in a sense that he is searching for the end of mankind. And there has been some kind of scary moments and scary implications in Invader Zim. I remember one time after Zim passed that one exam, he was flying some ship, and that little bar boy that the Urkin tallest leaders was gonna saddle this little bar boy with all the debt, gambling debt, when Zim failed his planet boot camp. That episode ends with the bar boy being all tied up in the back of some spaceship, all panicked, while Zim's spaceship's navigation control is like locked into going straight into the sun. I mean, super funny way to end it. And, you know, it's just a cartoon, and obviously they get out, you know, if you believe in one of those people who are really into, like, canons and things like that. I wonder if Invader Zim honestly did mess me up at all on some level. I mean, obviously every media is gonna have an effect, and I just think I'd probably be a more well-rounded person if, instead of filling my head with, you know, Dib and Zim going at it, I was reading, like, I don't know, books in general. But, you know, that's either here nor there. I enjoyed my childhood. You know, that's a whole nother video of regrets. Hey, regrets are pretty creepy, so I would say that's pretty on brand from what we're trying to talk about right now. Just in the first episode alone, Operation Impending Doom 2, there's just so much cruelty in that first episode. I mean, it literally starts basically with the tallest sending Zim off just to wither away and die. Just go into space, in your coffin, fly off to Mystery Planet, and good luck, Zim. Thank you for serving Operation Impending Doom 2. You did it. It's just so funny how cruelty is such a theme throughout Invader Zim. I mean, even with Dib, they're kind of like meters of each other. What is Dib's last name? But it doesn't matter. Dr. Mephisto? No. Membrane. I had to look it up. Dib Membrane. Dr. Membrane. Wasn't Mephisto. That's South Park. Anyways, even like Dib's whole thing is so cruel with everybody hating on him. I mean, he literally saves the entire school from the room with the moose by just sitting next to them. That's what we come to watch Invader Zim for. That's the kind of cruelty that's so over the top. It's just funny. And kids just love that. And it really made me think how throughout all cartoons, cruelty really is like the cornerstone of cartoons and just entertainment. I mean, we're going all the way back to Roadrunner, Bugs Bunny. Cruelty is always the point in those cartoons, in the old Looney Tunes cartoons. Because cruelty is kind of funny. It's like off limits. So it makes it interesting. You know, we all know we're not supposed to destroy the world, but we can live out those fantasies through Invader Zim. And it just is wonderful that Invader Zim was at a time and place that it was able to get made. Because I think it's really special, and I don't think we've had a cartoon through one of the networks that has matched that energy, that has matched Invader Zim's energy since. Please correct me if I'm wrong. If there is a show that's just as dark, just as zany, I would love to know it. There's been a lot of good cartoons out there, but I just don't think they've reached the creepiness factor of Invader Zim. And it's basically just, again, comes down to really the art style in general. I can't really think of too many cartoons that have this angular, sharp art style. It's funny, but it does kind of set the tone of the show when you look at all this. Even Zim's head is all angular. I just remember it's in the city, really, just sharp buildings everywhere. It's a whole different kind of beast than what you're used to. I know we get that one single movie from Netflix, which was kind of fun, but I'm really surprised nothing came from that afterwards. It was just like one quick flare. A lot of Nickelodeon content got like one quick little thing on Netflix and then like halt the brakes completely. And it doesn't even seem like they're doing anything on Paramount Plus either, which seems to be like Nickelodeon's home streaming channel. So I'm kind of surprised, honestly, that they haven't tried to reboot Invader Zim at all. I think there's a lot of potential with that IP. I think kids today, again, would really respond to that craziness, that creepiness. With Honan Vasquez at 50 years old, though, I don't know, maybe he's just not up to it. He probably has enough money, probably not hugely rich, but definitely probably enough money just to, live comfortably and whatnot. So he might just not be interested. Nor does he want to probably just like sell that name, that IP. Again, I'm not really smart enough to know exactly the big deals on how these sort of TV shows get made and the rights and whatnot. That's Legal Eagle for you. Go check out Legal Eagle. I'm sure there's something there for you. But this is Media Philosophy, and we explore the deeper side of entertainment. And with Invader Zim, again, we got really lucky that we got blessed with such a beautiful show that wasn't afraid to push the limits. The closest, again, to something bad happening, or really there being any death, was, again, that Gaz episode where the kid falls down an elevator shaft, but Nickelodeon wouldn't let a kid die on the show, so he has to come out and be like, Higgins! I remember even that episode, Zim eats waffles. They had a character named Nick who was just smiling all the time, because that was probably, and I heard that was supposed to be, Nickelodeon forcing this overtly happy attitude on everything, which is insane, because you really can't have happiness all the time, which is weird, because when you look at all the other successful kid shows like Adventure Time or Steven Universe, there's so much heart in those shows, and people respond to those. If it was happy all the time, it wouldn't be nearly as impactful. And again, that's what makes Invader Zim, out of all the cartoons that I watched as a kid growing up, what makes Invader Zim like kind of stick with me is the fact that it is so different than anything else that was being produced at its time. Not every episode ended happy. There's not everyone always giggling or smiling. The stakes were pretty high. It's probably because kids are such little monsters that they just love the violence, and that's why they love creepiness, because they crave the chaos. This is Media Philosophy, exploring the deeper side of entertainment.